Hello, my name is Chloe, welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you my April book haul. So I've got my cup of tea ready because this is going to be a very long one. I bought 21 books in April and all of them, even if I just paid for postage or I got them from a charity shop, all of these I did buy. Actually, that's a lie, there's one of them I didn't. 1 out of 21. So I bought 20 books. So yeah, we're going to be here a while. The first book I got, well the first 3 books, are the Infernal Devices series. This is the edition that I have the City of Bones collection in. I did have the bigger paperback books, the English ones, the UK ones rather, and they were taking up too much space. So not long ago I bought this edition of the City of Bones, the Mortal Instruments series, so decided I also wanted these ones of the Infernal Devices. I remember trying to read Clockwork Angel before. I don't think I got any further. I really want to, so I bought myself the nice editions to put them up on my shelves, and I will get to them eventually. Right. We're going to have to start a pile behind me, I think. You're not going to be able to see them until we start going this way. And Hedwig's fallen. Okay, next book I got myself is Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This is, I believe it's a US edition. Well, it has US and Canadian prices on the back. So I believe it's a US edition. Got some weird quotes in it. Apparently it's got a short story inside. But I saw that Jade from JD Reads was finally getting around to this, and it has been something that's been on my radar for years and I've never bothered to pick it up. But the fact that Jade was finally giving it a go meant that I also wanted to give it a go. Haven't managed that yet, but I now own the book. Next I have Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zusak. I don't actually have a copy of The Book Thief anymore, but I did love it. And this is it's a collectible edition. I know it's got some stickers in the back, and you know, add stickers to a book and I'm going to buy it. But yeah, this is a mammoth book. I don't even know what it's about. I just know it's Marcus Zusak, which is, I know, is a lot of people's reasons for buying this book. But yeah, I do actually want to get to this at some point. It's giant, it looks cool, it's got stickers, it happened. I then went on a bit of a splurge really and decided that I wanted to buy some more books. I received a £250 scholarship in January from my university and have decided that that is my book allowance for the year, and I was only on about £230, so I thought, well, we're going to go crazy. The first book I bought was The Gravekeepers by Elizabeth Byrne. Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads read this and I thought it sounded interesting at that point. I could not tell you what it's about now. I think it's about a family who maintain graves. Her parents are owners of a cemetery in upstate New York. Yeah, something to do with graves. It sounded cool. I bought it. I have no self-control. Similarly with that, we have The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I've never read this. I watched the film and just never ever... Oh, I've just noticed. Okay, chapter titles are like that. That's cool. But yeah, I just never ever got around to it. And I can't remember who it was. Somebody said that there is a good part where they talk about her being on her period in the zombie apocalypse. Well, not zombie apocalypse. Whatever happens. I forgot what happens. But just period in the apocalypse. And you know what? Even if that's a paragraph, I'm going to read it for that, because that just sounds like interesting and that no one's bothered to cover that before. Another book, actually, from Jade from JD Reads' sort of recommendations, I don't even remember if she liked it, is Beyond a Darkened Shore by Jessica Leake. This one actually has a signed bookplate in it, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, again, don't know anything about this. I know it's fantasy, and I don't even read fantasy, so I'm not even sure why I bought it. But I remember people talking about it, and I was like, right, let's just give it a go. And it sounds like quite intense fantasy for my liking, but it was cheap. It's a nice hardback. If I don't like it, somebody else will, and I just really, really want to start giving fantasy a bigger chance. Another giant hardback I bought myself is Broken Things by Lauren Oliver. I actually got this, I thought this was one of the other signed ones, but it's not. I got this on Amazon for like £3 and it's a giant brand new hardback, so wanted it. It had been on my wish list for quite a while now. I saw people talking about it. Some people said it's not actually that great, but I do like the Lauren Oliver books that I've read so far. Especially Vanishing Girls, which I read last summer. I do know some people had issues with that as well, but I did enjoy it, so I'm hoping that I also enjoy this one. And yeah, I was just happy to get a really good quality hardback book for a couple of quid. So if I don't like it, somebody else is welcome to give it a go. And again, I'm still on the books I just decided to treat myself with. We have A Quiet Kind of Thunder by Sarah Bernard. I believe this is a contemporary about a deaf girl. I'm just going to read that so I don't make myself sound like an idiot. I got that wrong. It's a mute girl and a deaf boy. We have Steffi doesn't talk and Reese can't hear. They understand each other perfectly. Love isn't always a lightning strike. Sometimes it's the rumbling roll of thunder. So yeah, I am... I've just hit myself in the book. I've just hit myself in the face with it. But yeah, I'm very intrigued by this. I am powering through my contemporaries, so wanted this one. A book that Chelsea Palmer has inspired me to get is Letters to the Lost by Bridget Kemmerer. There's a weird Zoella sticker in here, which I wasn't a fan of. But yeah, this looks very interesting. I think this is about a girl who leaves letters at her mother's grave and somebody starts replying. I could be wrong. That's what I have heard. I know that Chelsea absolutely loved it, so it gives me a lot of hope that I will also love this. And again, it's contemporary, written in letter form for the most part, and emails. So I'm going to fly through it. The next book I got in the February Bookspot box, which I bought in April because I'm a cheapskate. But that is Light as a Feather by Zoe Arson. I'd never heard of this. I didn't know it was a TV show, and I was binge watching The Undateables last night, and the advert for this series came on each ad break, and it looks really cool. So I need to get reading this one soon so I can watch that. This is also with a signed book plate, which I'm just finding them really interesting to have to be signed, even if it's not that well known of an author. I just think it's cool. So yes, I will be reading this soon because I really want to watch the programme. And now we have the first book that I have ever bought on a book's release date. And I'm sort of embarrassed by it, but we're gonna show it anyway, because it is The Mister by E.L. James. So I was at work minding my own business. I didn't even know this was going to be a thing, and it popped up on my phone to say that E.L. James had written a new book. I didn't really care, if I'm honest. I just thought, I'll probably pick that up in a charity shop in 2 weeks' time when some people have read it. But yeah, I just sort of ignored the fact, knew it was going to be the same level of smut probably, wasn't too bothered. And as I was walking home, I saw it in Asda for £3.50. So guess what I bought? I will be taking this on holiday, I think. I'm going to save it till Spain, so I can binge read it on the beach, making other people feel uncomfortable. That's my plan. On that same trip out on my way home, I stopped in a couple of charity shops, as I like to do sometimes. And I spent a fair amount of money really on just a couple of books that had been on my wavelength, but I hadn't wanted to buy full price. One of them being Where Did You Go Bernadette by Maria Semple. I don't really know much about this, apart from the fact that Jane the Virgin reads this book. And that's how I found out about it. I think it's about a woman a mother who goes missing. She just leaves. That's all I've sort of picked up. But yeah, I thought it sounded interesting from descriptions from Jane the Virgin. Who knows? I may hate it, but I now own it. Right, I need a tea break. So, more charity shop books. This one I hadn't actually heard of, and that is Shift by M. Bailey. But this was in the same charity shop as Where'd You Go, and it was 2 for £1, so picked it up. It's a very classic teen book. It says, there are two things everyone knew about Miranda Vale. The first was that she had no parents. They were dead. And the second was that they were dead because Miranda had killed them. Didn't read that bit the first time. Dead parents, obviously. I bet she's 17. I really bet she's 17. But yeah, it looked cool. 50p. May as well. Next book. I have some sort of like strange confession. Because I bought this the day before I watched Lauren's sort of booktube consumerism video, which I will link because I did find it really interesting. And I've never read the Throne of Glass series. I have the first one on my shelf. I found it in a charity shop. And I knew there were a few books in the series. I just own that one, and one day I will get to it. I also knew that the last book in the series was Kingdom of Ash. And that it's a whopper. It's like 1,000 pages long. But yeah, I thought there were maybe 5 books. I saw this for 50p. It is immaculate. So decided that either I will read Throne of Glass and eventually get to this one, or I'm going to sell it on because it is in pristine condition. For 50p, I couldn't leave it. I just had to get it. But then Lauren talked about the whole video of people who just buy the Throne of Glass books and never read them because of BookTube, and that's me. So yeah, I now own that. Sorry, Lauren. Maybe I'll read it. Maybe I'll prove everyone wrong. Another book I've definitely bought because of BookTube is The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. This is the book that everyone was getting confused with The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It must just be a coincidence that they're called something very similar, but this is about a woman who keeps dying. She's been murdered hundreds of times, and each day Aidan Bishop is too late to save her. There's only one way to break this cycle The only way to break this cycle is to identify Evelyn's killer. But every time the day begins again, Aidan wakes in the body of a different guest, and someone is desperate to stop him ever escaping Blackheath. So this doesn't really sound like my usual cup of tea, but everyone was talking about it, and apparently it's nearly as good as the Evelyn Hugo book. So, because it was always compared, and this made it into a few top 5s of 2018 and videos like that. So I'm excited to get to it, just a bit late to the party. The only book that I didn't buy myself, and that is A Curse so Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. So this is actually the second Bridget Kemmerer book I have in this pile. This I got when I went to Birmingham for the day with my parents. It was just before Easter, and they have decided recently that they like to get us a small Easter present. I had thought I'd grown out of that, but they bought my sister a couple of pillows and said, "You're allowed £8. So guess who went and found an £8 book. It was my first time in Foyles. I went to Foyles in Birmingham and was slightly overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed by this. Anyway, I'd seen it on everyone's channels. I love Beauty and the Beast. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I had to get it. I was given the choice and I bought it. And the next 3 books have actually arrived today, so technically they should be in my May book haul, but we'll lump them in this one so that I don't have to keep them in a pile separately for the next month. I bought these from Victoria, from What Victoria Read. I'll link her channel, because she didn't actually tell me she was sent them yet, so I haven't paid her postage on them. But I now own these books, so I'm going to have to talk to her as soon as I stop filming this video, because she needs my money. The first book being Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I did own a copy of this, but if any of you guys were around when I went to London, all of my belongings were taken, and the book in my bag that was stolen was Eleanor and Park. It wasn't this edition, but I now own this again. I've got it back. The other Rainbow Rowell book I've got is Carry On. I read Fangirl and I found myself skipping through the Carry On pages, and I forgot who I spoke to about that, but somebody said they did exactly the same but loved the actual book of Carry On. So bought Carry On, didn't I? Maybe I'll love it, maybe I'll hate it, who knows. I'm just intrigued to see what it's all about. And the last book is Eleanor Ilithia. I can't say it. Eleanor Ilithia is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. I've seen so many people read this book. I know that Lauren and Nicole absolutely love it, or have at least read it and liked it. Maybe I'm thinking they thought too much of it now. But yeah, heard a lot about it. Don't actually know what it's about. Not going to ruin it for myself, but now I own this book. So there we have it. I have 21 books. I did not intend on buying this month. It all just got a bit too carried away. I don't know how I'm going to take a thumbnail, if I'm quite honest. I can't pick all these up, and I've got to put them all back on my bookshelves. Yay. But thank you for watching this video. If there are any of these books that you think I need to get on straight away, then let me know. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.